Born to be alive, born to be alive. As we were born, born, born. Okay, class. This is just for you since you're here right now, even though I'm 2 hours late. Even though I'm here and I'm 2 hours late and you're here for the intro, this is for you. Extra credit. 50 points extra credit. Fill in the blank. Born to be blank. Just fill in the blank. Fantastic. 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 If you answered alive, congratulations. You get 50 points extra credit. And you get to skip the final. So, anybody else, all of the wrong answers, unfortunately, I'm going to have to dock points. I should have said that going in. I should have warned you. Should have warned you. Hey, everybody, welcome in. We're late today. I had errands to run. I told you the other day that I was gonna go run to this specialty store so that I could get Casey's birthday present. Shh. Shh. I need you to keep a secret. Don't tell her. So I went yesterday, and the internet said they closed at 7, and so I'm like, okay, perfect. I finished stream right around 6. Throw my coat on, get my stuff ready to go. I run out to this store, and they're closed at 6. I got there at like 6:05. So I had to go back today. I went back this morning. But I got what I was looking for. So, mission accomplished. So we do psychology questions. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. A little bit of a shorter stream today because I'm super late. So, my bad. My bad. What's my opinion on the Ljubljana School of Psychoanalysis? I'm going to be completely honest with you. I've never heard of that before. It's a Lacanian tradition in Slovenia. Yeah, we didn't really go over that in school. But let me see what this is. Founded in the late 70s by young Slovenian followers of the theories of Jacques Lacan, who was then the Socialist Federalist Republic of Yugoslavia. The main aim was to bring together the philosophy of German idealism, Marxism, and psychoanalytic theories as a means of analysis of contemporary social, cultural, and political phenomenon. The main goal was to reinterpret Marxism by emphasizing the rootedness of Karl Marx's thought in the tradition of German idealism. Yeah, I was educated in America, and in America, if it involves Marx, we just don't really talk about it much in our schools. They don't really want people finding out about Marxist ideas or socialism. They're just kind of shh. Marxism is evil. In what way? It's totalitarian. Can something be totally good? Is that even possible? Do we just need like a little bit of anarchy just to like keep it spicy? Gotta have a little bit of autonomy, a little bit of free will. The popular name of the school is seen as problematic by some since none of its members are practicing psychoanalysts. So what do you think about Zizek and Lacan? Oh, he's French. Yeah. Oh, I like this guy. I know who this guy is. This guy's pretty based. Lacan, I don't really know. If I'm going to be completely honest, I try not to think about French people. I'm not in like a bad. The regular run of the day, I just don't really find myself thinking like, you know what, vive la France. And I start thinking about French philosophers. It never happens to me. I don't know if that makes me a bad person, but I never find myself thinking about French people. I've got nothing against the French people. I just don't find I don't find the French people crossing my line of thinking very often. This has got some very weird takes when you look beneath the surface. Don't we all? Don't we all, though? That's why there's some cards you want to play close to the chest. You know? You're gonna tell me you have zero weird beliefs? You're gonna tell me you are completely free and clear of a singular weird belief? A lot of you are way too hard on yourselves, and I think that's a weird belief to have, so. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. I'm gonna be honest. I'm just gonna be honest, I don't really, you know what, I don't even think it's French people. I just don't spend much time thinking about men. Whether they're a philosopher, a psychologist, I'm kind of just like, I'm lost in my own ideas. I'm lost in my own thoughts. I don't do much thinking about other people. So when you're asking me, what do I think about this philosopher or this psychologist, I'm just like, maybe I learned about them in school, but I have spent zero time thinking about them since school. Two ads. Oh, well. Two ads, two bads. Is that weird? I just don't spend much time thinking about other dudes or what other dudes are doing. I'm just like, I'm doing my own thing. As far as philosophy goes, I find anything, you know, like, we had philosophy figured out pretty well in the first few thousand years. You know, the first couple thousand years of philosophy, we had it pretty well figured out. Modern philosophy is like, brrr, it's just like, I don't want to read an entire paragraph so that you can tell me that, you know, life sucks, but we should try our best anyway. All of the good quotes of philosophy were taken 500 years ago. The modern philosophical quotes are like this long. I'm like, I don't have time for that. Can you break it down a little bit for me? Ask a philosopher, they would agree with me on this one. People who study philosophy will especially know that modern philosophy is just kind of like a lot of hot air. And I say this as a person who had an interest in philosophy, and I studied like classical philosophy, you know, ancient philosophy, you know, Confucius, the Buddha, the other dudes, you know, those Greek fellows, Sporticus. My man Epictetus. Now there's a name to remember. Epictetus. Do you think there's any modern philosopher whose ideas resonate with you? Yeah, his name is Mike from PA. That's a modern philosopher that I could sit and listen to. I think Nietzsche is overrated. No clue. Well, he streams on Twitch. Should check him out. Central _committee. fun thing about philosophy is that anybody can have a philosophy. It's just your understanding of the universe put into words. That's all philosophy is. And you go and you study philosophy, and you're like, this person said this thing about that question. What do you think about it? So it's like, I've got no time for the wheel. Actually, you know what? We got a moment for the wheel today. It took me a little longer than I was anticipating to do all the stuff I needed to do. I had to go to Costco. I got these non-stick pans, but I forgot that I need induction-capable pans because I have an induction cooktop now. And so I was like, oh, these pans aren't going to work. So I went back and returned them. And then I had to get something to make Christmas dinner. I also got Casey a big bouquet of flowers. And then I had to go get a vase for the flowers because we didn't have a vase at home. And then I had to go get stuff to wrap her present. And then I had to go to a different grocery store to get puff pastry. And then I had to go to the other grocery store to get the rest of the stuff. And then I had to go to the specialty store to get her birthday present. Her birthday is tomorrow. I got publicly called out on stream for saying that news channels use the same photography equipment you can get at Best Buy 90% of the time. Just depends. I mean, you have to think that there are far more news teams than you or I could even conceive of. There's so many like local news agencies, small-time operations. It's just like, sure, if you're talking about like a major news outlet, like, yeah, they're using like a $50,000 camera for some reason. But if this is just your local news, it's like, yeah, they're probably using stuff that's like retail or retail adjacent. Huge misconception. It's a misconception that cameras are... Maybe I'm just assuming that they're all like sports cameras. Because I know those sports cameras are expensive. Even the sports cameras. So my takeaway here is that cameras are expensive, but people aren't using them. They have been filming movies on iPhones now, so... I think the misconception here is that historically, probably yes, more expensive equipment was used commercially. But that's because there was a big difference between the stuff that you could buy locally and the stuff that they would use. But the consumer level photography and videography equipment is really good now, so it's like, well, why not just pay that instead of paying thousands and thousands of dollars for something that has a function that I'll probably never need to use? Thank you for resubscribing, by the way. I don't know if I think I was in the middle of talking about something when that happened, but thank you. What's this channel about? New here? Hey, how's it going, Captain Floof? This is the Brain Domain, and we do mental health, psychology, all that kind of stuff. We're about to drop into our anonymous question box. I just had this giant wheel out so I could figure out how I feel right now. I'm feeling accomplished. You know, I got all those errands done. I still have to wrap this present, but that's only going to take me a minute. Everything else, good to go. Do we get to spin the wheel? No, this wheel doesn't spin. It's a stationary wheel, I'm afraid. It gets motion sick, so if I spin it, it would vomit. I appreciate you all asking questions about it because I felt very attacked and unable to explain myself earlier, LOL. Yeah, just as a general recommendation, if you're going into like a Twitch stream and you're trying to have a discussion with the streamer and their chat's going like this, their chat's just zipping by, it's like, it's gonna end up being a fairly one-sided conversation. Hey, Sugar Biscuit, welcome back in. Glad you're feeling better. The DA in New York is trying to make a big deal about charging Luigi with terrorism. I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't think that's gonna happen. People get shot in New York every damn day. You know, they charge all those people with terrorism too? You only get a terrorism charge if you shoot somebody with money? Not gonna happen. If they really want to try to charge him with terrorism, I'm like, can they even convict? Do you convict someone of terrorism? Is that a charge you have to be convicted of? Like, they're already upsetting people. I'm like, do they want to upset people more? I'm like, okay. If that's what you want to do. Alright. Goodbye, wheel. I'll see you later. Question time. Let's go and hop on into that question box. I don't know what it will take to convince myself I'm worthy as a person and not deserving of suffering. I've heard it from all my therapists. Your worth doesn't come from how good you are at your hobbies. You're worthy because you are alive. And all that, but I'm just never satisfied with that. Okay. Well, it has to come from you. Just hearing it from someone else doesn't really do much for you. Like me sitting here and telling you, you are worthy. It's like, for some people that's gonna feel good. For some people it's gonna be like, aw, thank you. I needed to hear that. But for you, it's like, well, no, hold on. You're just telling me to feel this way, but I don't actually feel this way. That's because it needs to come from you. If you want to convince yourself that you're worthy, you got to start telling yourself that you're worthy. I want to be great at what I do, but at every turn I agonize myself to do what I'm supposed to do, to improve, and it always crushes me to the point that I end up overwhelmed and just do nothing, and then the day is gone. Okay. You want to be great at what you do, and I'm just being kind of direct with you today. I'm just being, if this is me coming in, you know, a little direct. I'm just saying, because I'm getting the feeling that's what you want from me. Because you were talking about how I've heard all this from my therapist, it's just like, okay, whatever. So I'm just gonna kind of cut the crap, and I'm just gonna tell you what I think. You want to be great at what you do, but at every turn you agonize myself to do what I'm supposed to do to improve it, and it always crushes me to the point that I end up overwhelmed and just do nothing, and then the day is gone. All right, analyze your process. You're a smart fella. You're a smart person. I don't know if you're a fella. You're a smart individual. Take a step back from it and analyze your process. This isn't a sustainable process. We need to make some changes. Lay it out. What is your workflow? Because you're expecting a certain result, but it's a systemic issue. We need to mend the system that we're operating. We need to take a step back from it, and we need to take a look at, okay, I'm pushing myself too hard here. My expectations are unrealistic there. I need to make some tweaks. I need to make some modifications. You need to take a step back and take a look under the hood and see what the problem is. That's how you're going to fix it. I'm not really sure what I'm asking here, and this is all just rambling, but my mind refuses to listen when I'm told that I do matter, that I am worthy already. I just can't tolerate it. Yeah, that's because you don't want to hear it from other people, because you don't believe other people when they say it. You need to tell it to yourself, and you need to, you know, if you don't believe it when you say it to yourself, why? Take a look at that. Just go deeper. Why don't I feel like I am worthy? Answer that question for yourself, and then do something about it. This is a problem that you can fix. Anyway, that's my take. Yeah, hearing from other people, you could hear from other people 1,000 times that you know, oh, okay, you're worthy, don't worry about it, you're valid, it's okay. And it's like, okay, but I'm not receiving it because I don't believe it. If I don't believe it about myself, I'm not going to believe other people when they say it to me. So, take a step back. Try to look at the bigger picture here. What changes do you need to make? What mindsets do you need to open up to? Happy to help if you need anything else, or if you have any more questions, you know, feel free to ask. One thing I've noticed is that some people do like a more direct approach. You know, sometimes they feel like their therapist is beating around the bush with them. And that's kind of what some of them are trained to do. It's just like, come on, come to the realization on your own. I don't want to tell you what to think. But some people are just like, please, I'm beating my head against the wall here. Just tell me, just tell me in direct words. I wonder why I love having other rooms in my home clean and organized, but when it comes to my own room, I just can't seem to keep it that way. Even when I try to organize it, I feel exhausted and want to stop almost immediately. I wonder why that is. It feels like an automatic response. Let's think about it. Think about a room in your house that isn't your bedroom. You know, think about your living room. Think about your kitchen. Think about your bathroom. You have different feelings associated with each of those different rooms. Some of those rooms are more like open, more accessible places, and then you have more places that are like private and put away. And normally when it comes to like your own room, like your bedroom, that's normally where it's like, okay, I can really just let my hair down, not have to worry about keeping up appearances, and I can just exist. And so I think a lot of people do set a different standard for like their bedroom versus the rest of the house. So I think when it comes to organizing it, don't treat it like it's just any other room of your house. Treat it as a sacred space, because that's kind of what it is. It's your bedroom. It's a sacred place for many of us. Not your bedroom specifically, but like our bedrooms individually. Treat your room as a special place. Treat it as like a temple. You know, this is a sacred place. This is where I can go to rest and recover. This is where I can go to feel at peace. You know, treat it that way. How would you want that place to be organized? How would you want that place to be kept? Do it in a mindful, meaningful way. You know, it's not like tidying up your kitchen. It's not like scrubbing your bathroom. This is something that's much more personal. So treat it that way. Treat it as something sacred. Do it with reverence. Hey, my brother, good to see you. Hope you had a good day without craft beer and human birds, bro. Oh yeah, absolutely. No craft beer for me. And I haven't seen any of those human birds. You know, human bird... No, we're talking about human birds. We're talking like bird-human hybrids. You gotta watch out for those. They're terrifying. Hey, Cody, how's it going? Glasses on the inside, I can dig it. You know, we might be inside the universe, but I'm in outside space. My doctor prescribed me heavy painkillers again. The temptation is strong. Be very careful with those. Those are very dangerous. I think that what makes it so polarizing to deal with, to be told you're worthy or not, is because you have low self-image, so you naturally turn to other people for an option you find more valuable, but then when you get the response you don't want to hear, you're so quick to deny it. It's like a paradoxical egoism, if that makes any sense at all. Yeah, it's like... And a lot, well, like... That sort of like paradoxical mindset, that is something you see is kind of like a common trend in a lot of ways that we bring ourselves up and the way that we learn to like interact with people. It's like, okay, We're supposed to be enticing, but we're also supposed to keep people at a distance. We're supposed to be welcome, friendly, and inviting, but also stoic and aloof. Where do you go when you're alone? The bathroom, mostly. Mostly that's where I go. When I'm alone, I like to watch YouTube or a book. I'll do a book. Yeah, and we got these dogs and cats, so we're never alone. I was alone out and about when I was doing my errands today. I was in the zone, though. I was in business mode. Thanks for the stream, Mr. Brain, sir. Oh, you're quite welcome. Mr. Brain's fine. There are so many wonderful people all around you. Yeah, they were all also doing holiday shopping, so, you know, some of them were in bright spirits, but then others were very also, like, focused on their task at hand. Why so spy looking? Because I'm trying to be low key. Trying to be low key today. Kind of questions that people usually ask about in this channel. I've had all sorts of different questions, and I'm surprised every day with the questions I get. Anything and everything. I've heard so many, so many different questions. So many different questions. Yeah, we take questions related to, you know, our relationships, our life experiences, aliens, outer space, philosophy, anything. It's all come across the desk. We've got a follow-up question. Hey, I asked a question a couple weeks ago. Thanks for taking the time answering that. The court shit went well. Our lawyers got all charges dropped by simple possession, which gave us 6 months probation without verdict, which means we will not have a criminal record afterwards. Oh, that's good. That's good. You'll love to hear it. For those who don't know, this was all over some bullshit. This was all over some bullshit. This was just like some vindictive landlord type shit. This is why I shelled out extra to live in a legal state. I've been arrested twice. This happened in a legal state even, which is why it's so confusing. I'm finally relieved of all that worry, but I'm having trouble feeling like we're still lost somehow. Like our old landlord escaped with nothing, but we have 6 months non-reporting probation for having pot on our own property. Our lawyer says they were investigating us for a while and thought we had a giant grow house or something, but we didn't. What? What? Oh, so they fucked up. Oh, so they fucked up. Maybe you could talk to another lawyer about a countersuit. Be like, yeah, hi, my house was raided and they were investigating me and I did absolutely nothing wrong and it's been traumatic for me. I have been dealing with emotional stress. You know, just a thought. Just a thought. Just since you said you feel like, you know, you're still looking for a win, you know. Yeah, they got raided because their landlord was like digging through their trash. It was wild, honestly. Like you should probably talk to an attorney about it because this is honestly just wild. It's free to talk to an attorney, by the way. You don't have to pay them. You need a litigator. Yeah, I would call and talk to an attorney, and if you aren't sure who to call and who to talk to, just call around and ask for recommendations. Lawyers know all sorts of other lawyers, and so I'll be like, oh yeah, you need to talk to this person. They originally charged us with manufacturing since PA doesn't have cultivation as a charge. That quickly got dropped and everything else got dropped. This happened in PA? I thought this happened in a different state. Maybe I'm confused. That quickly got dropped and everything else got dropped. Our landlord went through our trash for several months before finding something vaguely incriminating enough to pursue a search warrant. How can we turn this whole thing around to where we feel more like we were survivors to this whole thing and less like victims of landlord and police abuses of power? By contacting an attorney. I would contact an attorney because what happened to you honestly sounds cartoonishly, like, fucked up. So yeah, I would find a lawyer and I would tell them everything that happened. And then they will tell you whether or not they think you have a case. Probably at least get a settlement. You probably wouldn't even have to go to trial. But no, that's what I would do. That's what I would recommend. Like, that's what I would even recommend, like, within a therapeutics context. Like, if I had somebody who came into my office and I was doing therapy with them and they were to be like, this is what happened, I'd be like, have you thought about talking about that to an attorney? Because that doesn't sound legal. So I understand the importance of, like, turning the other cheek and being the bigger person, but, like, you were wrongfully treated and you should talk to an attorney about that. That's what I would recommend. Like, worst case scenario, at least the attorney can tell you or, like, explain the situation a little bit better to you and, like, go over your options and stuff. But yeah, that situation would definitely have me heated. So that's what I would do in that situation. So that's, you know, if you're looking about taking a different route, you know, just trying to let it all go, I would say, you know, then it's just going to take time to get over it. Because you were like wrongfully treated. So it's just going to take time to get over that. But in the meantime, you know, it's free to talk to somebody. It's legal in PA for landlords to do that. It's a landlord-loving state. So PA sucks is what I'm hearing. Well, I'm like not even like just the landlord, like just within the context of that, because it's not just the landlord going through your trash. It's the landlord going through your trash, and then also you're being investigated by the police for months, and they raid your house, and there's nothing there. I'm like, that's stress. That's unnecessary time and turmoil. So yeah, I would just try to see what your legal options were. I would also move. Fuck that landlord. Oh my god. Fuck landlords, let me just say that loud and clear. You know, even if there's not anything you can do through the legal system, I'm like, you are also well within your rights to go and, you know, give him lots of 1-star reviews online. You know, you can make sure that people on the internet know that this is what this guy's doing. He's digging through people's trash. False police reports. Ayo, my parents are my landlords, WTF. Well, that's different. You know, like living in a home that's owned by a family member, that's different. But just like owning property and then having people pay you to live in that property is a broken system. It's a broken system. It's very classist. There are people out there who living paycheck to paycheck because they need other people to pay them rent. Fucks up the housing market. Makes housing more expensive. Yeah, like I'm fine with people like renting a house, like renting their old house to like supplement their income in old age or something. That's a lot different from some of these very predatory landlords who will own multiple properties and then just, you know, treat all of their residents like criminals. I think housing co-ops where like everybody who lives there and who pays like has a stake in it. So you all have partial ownership of the building. That's pretty sick. They do it in a lot of European countries. Corporate landlords are the worst. Oh, like property management companies. Ugh. Oh my god, those are the worst. Just talk about like the most soulless. Like I rented a property and there was like a property manager. The people who worked in that office were just the most completely soulless, just no light behind the eyes. Just awful. Terrible experience. It's like it's a systemic issue the way you describe it. Oh. I would go so far as to say that many of our issues are systemic issues. We're experiencing the end game of capitalism, I think. I once had a landlord try to evict me because I was attacked and called the police. Like, hey, you can't increase the crime rate in this neighborhood. It's gonna decrease the property value. What are you doing calling the police? That's gonna raise our crime statistics. I'm just assuming that's how your landlord sounded. Have you just considered dying? What is this, the Canadian healthcare system? There were gunshots into my old apartment building and my landlord didn't want me to call the police. Whenever I start talking about landlords, it starts making me do the Minecraft villager noise. Someone should do something about these landlords. I'm not gonna say what it is that they should do or when or how they should do it, but I will agree with the sentiment that something should be done. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Trigger warning, essay and trauma. Hi, Papa and family. I want to mention before this that I am much better about this than I was before. Good. Good. We love progress. And it's taken me a lot to even get here. But you know who did it? You. You did that. So now you got momentum. So keep going. 2 years ago, I survived an attempted SA. I won't go into the details, but the experience was really deeply traumatizing. Absolutely. It's probably one of the more traumatizing things that could happen to a person. Although the person failed, the fact that they tried and got so close has profoundly affected me. I feel dumb or too sensitive for still being impacted. I'm trying to show you empathy and compassion, but when I hear that you feel dumb for this, I'm frustrated. I get frustrated when I hear that. This thing happened. It happened 2 years ago. That's basically yesterday as far as the trauma calendar goes. The important thing is that you're healing and that you're getting better and that you're feeling your strength again. You don't need to beat yourself up for how long it takes, or that you're doing it in the right amount of time. Do it at the pace that you do it. It's just more important that you get it done than it is to just get it done quicker. You know, just stick with the process. The realization that I was in the process of being hunted in that way is what shook a lot with me. Oh yeah, this can change your entire perception of life. You see situations and you see people entirely differently. Since then, I've struggled with distrusting my intuition. Wasn't it your intuition that helped to keep you safe in spite of that thing happening? Like, you need to give yourself some credit here. I feel shaken because I didn't sense the danger beforehand, and it makes me doubt myself when interacting with men. Sadly, even though I love to dance and be with my female friends in our groups, I avoid nightclubs, raves, and dating apps, fearing predators or being re-traumatized. I feel like I can't even dance freely because some weirdo might be standing in the corner recording or posting it somewhere to beat off. If you want to dance, dance. It doesn't have to be at the nightclub, the rave. It could be right at home. It could be in your yard. It could be on the sidewalk. It could be in the park. Just do it for the love of doing it, you know? I feel like that's probably what's more important to you, is just that movement, that expression, than actually being in the place, you know, being in the crowded nightclub or being, you know, it's... It feels like I've lost the carefree version of myself who knew men don't hold power over anything I do, even sexually, or were capable of seeing me as some gross prey. I prefer that innocence of mine, and I just feel tainted. As if I can't find someone who will truly love me because I know too much about the world now. It's also changed how I present myself. I've dimmed my bubbly, outgoing personality because I fear attracting the wrong kind of attention. Even genuinely smiling or laughing feels risky, like it gives something gratifying to men who only make our happiness and joy about themselves. What it sounds like is this trauma that you've endured. You know, this trauma that you have survived. It's kind of got you on high alert. It's got you hyper-analyzing things. What makes you feel peaceful? You know, what allows you to kind of let your guard down? Because just staying on guard all the time is draining and it's exhausting. So I hope that you do have those opportunities to just unwind a bit. You know, it's good to be mindful, it's good to be aware, and it's good to keep yourself safe. But staying on high alert really takes it out of you. Sometimes I fear the person I got away from or others I reject might try to seek me or find me or seek revenge, which keeps me on edge. I also now noticed how many men truly objectify women, even their own wives, obsess over body counts as if it's someone they now own, or engage in victim blaming, and just how damaging that narrative could be to someone who may have experienced SA. It's like they use the sexual past of their partners as a trophy or source of humiliation or a reason a woman should or is mistreated. It's shocking and makes me hesitant to date or trust men at all. I know this doesn't define me, but it's disheartening and makes me hesitant to trust men or pursue relationships, even though I know I'd be good for someone truly kind and respectful. Then I think that's what you're looking for, is someone truly kind and respectful. You're looking for someone, you're looking for someone special. That was a long one, but I hope it's enough to give some insight. How can I work on healing and regaining some of that trust, both in myself and in others? I think letting that guard down a little bit, maintaining a guard. I'm not saying be guardless. I'm just saying that maybe I don't need to assume that everyone I see, everyone I come across is out to hurt me. Think of all of the people that you had met up until that point where you were traumatized. All those people you interacted with, all those people you had fun with, all those people that you were able to be around. And while we're not really able to go back to the way it was before, we can still get close. We might approach the world a bit more mindfully. We might be a little more guarded. But we don't need to lock ourselves in with these walls that we build. Because the thing about regaining trust is you have to give that trust. You have to open up to that trust. And that might mean being uncomfortable until that trust is validated, Sometimes you have to put yourself out there and you have to take that chance. Also, find people that earn your trust. But you don't have to just put trust in people. There are people out there who will be sure to earn your trust. What are some ways to quickly detect sexist idiots in an initial conversation? Ask them questions about the women that they know. Ask them the name of their favorite woman scientist. don't even have a favorite man scientist. You could say me if you want. I'm a man of science. I could wear a lab coat if it'd make you feel better. I would just try to come up with a good litmus test. If you're trying to find a way to quickly detect sexist idiots, ask them questions about the women in their lives, or the women that they respect, you know? That'll give you some good insight. All right. It sounds like you've done a lot of healing and you're still in that process of healing. So it sounds like you're kind of approaching one of those like breakthrough type moments, you know, like where I go out there, I do the things that I used to do, or I rekindle some of those old feelings that I used to have. You know, I feel like that's kind of the point that you're approaching in your healing journey. You're kind of like then that point of rediscovering yourself. So take some time to think about what that would look like. Best of luck on your continued journey of healing. This comment section has me shook. All right, let's take a look. Comment section, huh?
Oh, don't mind me while I blow your freaking mind for a second.
Oh, it's this guy again. The cult guy. What are the comments? Okay, hold on. Hold on. My son is autistic and nonverbal, and this is accurate. My son can read my mind and gets really, really upset if I'm having intrusive thoughts / anxiety. He's so special. I have a theory. I believe a majority of neurodivergence is human evolution occurring with abilities like ESP, telepathy, etc. Okay, let's see what's going on in this video. Okay, what's this guy talking about?
Oh, don't mind me while I blow your freaking mind for a second. I am about to put you on to one of the most incredible and transformational things you will ever listen to in your life.
Let me just say, this guy's way too excited, and I'm inherently distrustful of people that are this excited about anything that they talk about. I don't care what you're talking about. When you come at me with this level of excitement, I'm just like, you're trying to sell me something, aren't you? That's just my inner skeptic. MLM guru energy? Oh yeah, exactly. This guy's got MLM guru energy. He's just like, so if you just want to subscribe to our base level plan here.
This is the Telepathy Tapes by Kai Dickens, and it explores the cases of telepathic abilities within the most incredible group. It is individuals who are autistic and non-verbal. Now, I'm going to be doing a 4-video deep dive, but I want to give you guys the spark notes of it. So Kai was first introduced to the phenomenon of telepathy within non-verbal autistic individuals through a podcast that was featuring Dr. Diane Powell, who is a neuropsychologist that came from Johns Hopkins, and I believe she's at Harvard now. They talk of the tens of thousands of cases of mothers who think, my child can read my mind. But a lot of them don't bring it up because they just think they're crazy, or other people will think they're crazy. But
this is every mother I've ever met. I feel like they're like, oh, I'm your mother. I know your brain better than you know your brain. So do neurodivergent people have latent telepathic abilities? Probably not. They might be more highly aware. They might be more highly empathetic. They might pick up on little minutiae, changes in your body language, the way you're posturing, even on some other levels, like the pheromones that you might be emitting when you're in a stressful state. When we're stressed, we emit different pheromones, and people can pick up on that on like a biological level that we might not be really aware of. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're telepathic. Like, have you ever walked into a room and you could just tell, like, the tension in this room is high? Like, you haven't even heard a word. You don't even know what's going on, but you walk into a room and you're just like, oh, something's off in here. Imagine using the word minutiae in a sentence. It's a fun word to say. It's a fun word to say.
They're not, and it's an incredibly common experience. So on the podcast with Dr. Powell, they set up these experiments with insane controls. It's crazy, it's crazy. They'll take someone like the mother, they'll put them in a room, they'll give them this random number generator, or they'll show them pictures. The other room, a child will be blindfolded. After the mother is shown something, the child will be told that they can take off the blindfold and then they can type into an iPad what they saw. These kids, they never miss. They never miss. They see through their mother's eyes. They hear what she's thinking. Oh, and if you think that's where it ends, no, we're just getting started. One of the reoccurring things that comes up when they talk to all of these various children does not...
This is like so crazy, but what I really don't like about this type of delivery is it's like he's really excited, but he's also whispering. It's like, how is he yelling but also whispering at the same time? Gemini Dean, thank you for the 5 months. Thank you for the 5 months, Dean.
No matter where they are in the world, they talk about something they call the hill. It is a place where they can all send their consciousness and talk to other children with the same abilities, other people with the same abilities. The podcast talks about a kid from Georgia who was best friends with a kid from Utah and how they would talk every single day by going to the hill. So many of these children have been able to communicate through letterboards or typing. The podcast teaches you what that is. Here's some of the things that they wish the world would know. Number one, that they know things. They know things that they can teach us, but no one will listen. Another quote that was incredible is they said, "In my world, we don't speak. We communicate through our eyes." Another said, "Audible speakers, us, we only see one side of the story. There's so much to it that we don't know." It's so fascinating to me that every faith-based tradition talks about a time coming where the dumb shall speak. But I guess the question is, are you willing to listen? You need to listen to this. Everybody needs to. It's 9 incredible episodes. It is going to blow your mind. If you're not sold, let me give you a few more examples. They show examples of extraordinary cases of savantism, like a girl who knows dozens of languages without ever being taught. A boy who can instantaneously solve the most complex math equations because he sees them in colors. Many of the children have photographic memories and can recall complex data because they experience it. They can touch books and immediately know the contents. I'm not kidding. So why does this matter? This is Kai Dickens, by the way. Number one, it's going to show you the limitations that you put onto your own consciousness. Number two, it's going to expand your ideas of what consciousness is. And 3, when you're done listening, you are going to see what I've been making content about, that we are living in a simulated reality or a holographic reality. This is not base reality. This is not what is real. It feels real. I get that. But there is a base that is more real and you can tap into it. Like I said, I'm doing a 3-episode deep dive because this whole 3-minute video doesn't even scratch the freaking surface. It is time for you to open your eyes and experience truth. It is time to give a platform to these angels who are here on earth to teach us. We just need to listen.
Okay. Um. You just dropped a whole ass nothing's real guys on us. Right? There's a lot of interesting stuff on TikTok. A lot of people doing some, really out there stuff. You know, a lot of that remote viewing, a lot of that new age mysticism. Sorry, my brain blue screened and I'm rebooting. Um I guess my big problem with a lot of these like these new age mystic types is it's kind of like, okay, so you live in a hologram. Good for you. Now, do you want to help us change the world? Do you want to help us make the world a better place for everybody? Or do you just want to, sell me vitamins on TikTok? Like, like, okay, so maybe we live in a hologram. I don't fucking care. We got people to take care of. You're telling me that there's all of these people on TikTok who can shift into alternate realities, but they can't end the genocide? Like, what are they doing? Like, come on, I thought that reality is just a simulation and you can just bend it to your whim. Like, go ahead and do it then. Like, I understand that your thoughts create your reality, because that is true. Because you can only perceive what you perceive. So whatever is real to you may as well be real to you, because you're only receiving your sensory input. Your thoughts create your reality. You get recommended that shit on YouTube all the time. Yeah, it's like, this is just one of the ways that, like, this is just one of the latest schemes in, like, mental health. It's just kind of like a grift. It's just like, guys, just brainwash yourself into being happy. Just recognize that we all live in a hologram, and if you're not happy, you're just not manifesting hard enough. Can't we feel all sides of a cube at the same time? I don't get it. See, now there's the thing. It's like you're talking about the perception of like a 3D universe, but it's like you are just thinking about the perception of sight. You can experience multiple dimensions through your other senses. You have a sense of balance, you have a sense of equilibrium, you also have a sense of touch that can actually interpret multidimensional objects. You were brought to this moment. I'm not a big fan of... Like, I understand that humans are suggestible. And there are people out there who will just take advantage of suggestibility just to sell you on an idea. Like, I'm trying to sell people on an idea. I get it. Like, I'm not different in that way, but I feel like I am trying to be as honest and genuine as I can. Pisses me off because I know it preys on those at their lowest and who might not have the tools or knowledge to see it for the grift it is. True, and some people do fall into the grift, but for other people they might be able to get a little bit of help from it. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just trying to... I think people just really need something to believe in. And they have a really hard time believing in themselves, so they find something else to latch onto. A religion, another person, a movement. I want you to believe in you. You know? That's what I want you to believe in. You're sorry? Well, there you go. I'm feeling very irritable this week. I was listening to my supervisors talking about how taxes are too high, and they were lamenting how high their pre-tax salary is. I was so pissed off listening to this. We work on government contract. How the fuck do you think they get paid to begin with? Do they want to see the pre-profit income as well? I'm not saying the government utilizes tax as well, but at least they try to do something sometimes. I want to call them out because I don't want them influencing my younger coworkers. Sorry, just had to vent. Just organize with your younger coworkers. Just find solidarity with your younger coworkers, you know? Awaken their class consciousness. You don't have to go and, like, stir stuff up with the people in charge. You can awaken the class consciousness of the people that are in, you know. That's what I would encourage people to do, just in general. Just, like, help awaken the class consciousness of your fellows. Sorry, just had to vent. Well, not sorry for this. Yeah, you know, if you're unsatisfied in your working conditions and your bosses are out of touch, you should talk to your fellows about it. You should awaken the class consciousness of the people that you work with. You know, talk to union organizers, you know. You want better working conditions? Let's fight for them. Let's do what we gotta do to make that happen. We've had enough of just sitting around and listening to our bosses and our managers talk about what they're gonna do with their bonuses or what they're gonna... You know what I mean? Like, we've had enough of that. Hi, Joshua in chat. I am gay. Well, hi, gay. Well, hi, gay. How you doing today? Papa, I got an offer to sell my ring to to a husband's sister. What to do? Put that shit up for auction and let him bid on it. Like, what are the chances that they don't even pay you? Like, what are the chances they're like, all right, send us the ring. All right, we're going to send you the money. And then you just never get the money. And then what do you do? It's not a bad offer, but I don't know. It's so weird. It's like, yeah, why do they want it? That is weird. Is it like a family heirloom or something? She's basically offering full value. I mean, if the offer's legitimate, if that's what you want to do. Just get that offer in writing. I just wish it wasn't her, because I'm a little petty. Well, then put a curse on it before you send it back. You know, do a ritual. You know, light some candles and do some incantations. Curse it, and then sell it back. Sell get to get a nose job. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Yeah, no curses. Curses always end up backfiring. This is why you shouldn't cast curses. You should only cast
Oh, don't mind me.
protective spells. What's this guy's deal, by the way? Who is this Mr. Cult Daddy? There's just something off about the vibes. He's a little too excited. I feel like this guy's... Like, he's just embracing the label, too. It's just cult daddy. I was like, okay. It's like, you definitely have cult leader vibes. You definitely... The cult leader vibes are definitely there. I'm trying to quantify what my issue is with this. You know what it is? I don't like when people talk like this. This is... He's got his hand up like this in half of these thumbnails. I'm like, maybe that's part of what it is. These types of people make me a little uncomfortable. You've evolved beyond this clickbait and no longer works on you. I think you're right. I'm just too evolved. Maybe that's what it is. I'm just too enlightened. I see all of these TikToks and they're just like, Did you know that the CIA says that the universe is actually a code? I'm just like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, who cares? Who cares? Who cares where the universe came from, where the universe is going? All of your power and all of your potential is right here, right now, in this moment. You have the means to shape your life into something special. It might be stressful. It might hurt. But it's entirely possible. So do it. It is a code because everything obeys math. Yeah, and that's it. It's math. I'm gonna start a cult, but it's not gonna be that weird. It will be a little weird, but not that weird. That's just too weird. That's just too weird. Like, I'm down with meditation, I'm down with all that stuff, I'm down with, like, unlocking your true potential and stuff, but some of that stuff just comes across as a little delusional. Like, I've always been open to new ideas and new ways of thinking and new ways of seeing the universe, alright? Which is why I am inherently distrustful of anybody who claims to have the answers, because I feel like there are questions that we will never have the answer to. We just don't have the ability. We don't have the brain for it. It's beyond us. That's what I think. The universe has finite rules because consciousness exists, which retroactively proves the rules that govern the universe had to be such to create a stable consciousness. Therefore, the rules of the universe are knowable. Yeah, but I don't have time to read all that. Can you imagine how long that book would be? Rules of the universe? It's like, sure, it's finite, but it's nearing infinity. It's like, sure, I'll read that book. It's only, you know, only slightly more permutations than there are in a deck of playing cards. I feel so guilty. I just ate Taco Bell and I feel so disgusted with myself. I want to gain weight since I'm considered underweight for my height, but I want to do it in a nutrient-dense way. I feel sad that I did this. You're allowed to have a little bit of fun, okay? Eating Taco Bell one time is not gonna make or break your entire, you know, nutrient-dense goal, okay? I think it's just the season. I feel like people are just being too mean to themselves this season. What's going on with us today? Everybody's just beating themselves up right now. So cut it out. Knock it off. So you had your cheat meal. That's fine. You could do that once a week, once every 2 weeks, no problem. You know, show yourself more grace. Show yourself some patience. Show yourself some compassion. You're allowed to have Taco Bell once in a while as a treat. It's fine. It's not gonna make or break you. You don't need to beat yourself up over it, because the Taco Bell's already doing that for you. Whenever I cave and eat Taco Bell, I don't really beat myself up, because the Taco Bell does it for me, alright? Like, the Taco Bell has that covered. You would agree that I'm genuine with no hidden agenda? I mean, my hidden agenda is subscribe to my channel. And I keep that one pretty open. I keep that one pretty obvious. Also, you know, maybe we'll start a cult somewhere down the line, but I feel like, you know, we're all on board for that, so it is what it is. It's not a cult, it's an intentional community, okay? It's different. It's different. An intentional community. I'm not starting a TikTok cult. I'm not gonna be that weird. Questioner, I feel like this is a good opportunity to reflect on the way that you treat yourself when you slip up with your diet or with your planned food goals. You know, you don't need to be so harsh on yourself. I feel like that added level of stress is just going to make things more complicated, so it's okay. You ate the Taco Bell. You can't uneat the Taco Bell, but you could take a multivitamin. You could eat a salad today, balance it all out. It's better to eat something to eat nothing than eat nothing. Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, don't let perfect get in the way of good. Focusing on the guilt sets you up for self-sabotage in general. That's absolutely true. If you're just focusing a lot on the guilt, consider how that would affect you going into the future. Like, even if you are doing the right thing, you might have a harder time recognizing your successes or celebrating your wins because you might hyperfixate on those perceived flaws. So let's try to let this perfectionism go and just focus on trying our best. It's okay to feel sad after you eat Taco Bell. I feel sad after I eat Taco Bell too. It does that to a person. Hi, I'm gay. Happy holidays. Hey, Grimoire, how's it going? Welcome in. Oh yeah, that fast food can sometimes just wreck your microbiome, doesn't it? Doesn't fast food just sometimes just leave you reeling for days? You're just like, oh no, all of those trillions of organisms living inside of my GI tract are in a state of upheaval. Happy holidays, gays. I have a delusional, narcissistic mother and an enabler aunt, and I haven't spoken to them at all for 12 years, and very little for the past 15 years. She loves to leave manipulative messages on Christmas. Sometimes I'm able to fully see through her tactics, but when I'm already drained, I can be more affected. She is elderly and probably isn't in great health, so this can make me feel guiltier for ignoring her. How can I better cope? Okay, let me just ask you this, just for perspective. Why is that guilt only yours to bear? Shouldn't this person, as your parent, do more to have a healthy relationship with their child? But they've left you with no choice but to step away, and their response to that is to try to guilt and manipulate you to come back? Instead of showing genuine growth? Instead of actually, owning up to the way that they've been and having some accountability? If that connection could be mended, it could be mended. Like, if we wanted to mend that connection, there's a very clear path forward. But it just doesn't sound like she's willing to walk that path. And many narcissists just aren't. They just aren't willing to open up to accountability because to them it would hurt. It would hurt very badly to open up to all that accountability. Their house of cards would... You don't want to ignore this person. You've been left with no choice but to ignore them. And that's not on you. And I know it makes you feel bad, and I know it might make you feel guilty. But have they left you with any other choice? This is one of the things that can really suck about having a strained relationship with a parent, is you could go years and years and years without talking to them, just hoping that they would have some growth, hoping that they would come to a realization that maybe they need to just be a little bit accountable for the way that they've acted. Maybe they just need to show some humility. Maybe they just need to apologize for the way that they've been, so that we can heal and come closer. But so many parents, even after years away, they will still just like make you feel as if it is your fault for putting that boundary up. And that's what abusers do. Abusers make you feel like it is your fault for putting up a boundary to protect yourself. So how can we cope with this? I would find somebody to talk to about it. Find somebody who just can offer some perspective because, I mean, just... Sometimes we are left with no choice but to give a person space so that they have room to grow. It's their choice whether or not they choose to grow. You know, you gotta protect yourself. You don't have to keep a manipulative, abusive person in your life just because they demand that you keep them in their life. I think what might help you to cope with that guilt is to, you know, just recognize that that guilt is not all on you. That guilt is on them as well. Like, there is a path to healing, and they just don't really seem to be interested in taking it. So do you want to be in contact with them or not? You know, like, what do you want to do about that? Do you want to see them for the sake of your guilt? Do you think that maybe seeing them might make you feel a little bit better, or is it just going to make you feel worse? It's your choice whether or not you want to engage, and it is your choice to decide whether or not you want to respond or, you know, that's up to you. I feel bad for elderly people who still just don't get it. You know, they've had decades and decades to put those pieces together and to realize, you know, maybe if the people that I wanted in my life, you know, maybe if I was nicer to them, they would want to be around me. Maybe it's me. Like, maybe I'm pushing all these people away. Maybe that's why I'm so miserable and alone. Maybe I'm the one pushing people away. Nah, couldn't be me. It's everybody else's fault. I'm perfect. Some old people, they just still don't get it. So I would just say a great way to cope with this is to just be the opposite of this person and to just try your best to be polite and empathetic and everything that this person is not. I feel like that's a great way to cope with it. To see what they do and then recognize what you should not do. That is one silver lining of having crappy parents. You learn what not to do. Update on seeing my ex to get my stuff. She insulted me and said I'm too much and she can only have 2 friends, one being her abuser. But she also still loves me and gave me a Christmas present. Sounds like she's in a weird spot right now. So, Grimoire, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Let's go. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. Thank you, thank you. Let me just ask you something. You know, this interaction you had, you know, you went over and you picked up your stuff from your ex's place. Would you say that it went about as you expected? Did it go worse than you expected? Did it go better than you expected? You know, maybe in some ways it went better, maybe in other ways it went about how you expected. You know, what's your... Now that you've had some time to reflect, how do you feel about it? I wasn't expecting to get insulted and then also get a present. I'm gonna say this as like... This is gonna be mostly a joke. This is like 98% a joke, okay? So just like... I just want to say it, so if anybody's offended, let me know. I just want... Getting insulted and then also getting a present, that's one of the most BPD coded things I've ever heard. Like, talk about splitting, am I right? Here you go, you stupid fucking idiot. Merry Christmas. I love you so much. Merry Christmas, you filthy animal. I declined the present and I just said the things I wanted to say, so I feel fine. Oh, good. Good. Honestly, look at you. Like, look at you go. Like, declining a Christmas present, that's such a power move. You were like, actually, that's fine. I don't need that. Thank you. God, that's such a power move. Do you ever take a moment to just stop and appreciate your power? That's such a powerful move. I have the closure I need. I think in a few months when she's not manic anymore, I'll probably get a text. You know, it might happen. Sometimes we leave relationships and sometimes we end up hearing from these people like months and sometimes even years later and you're just like, huh, I kind of forgot that this person existed. I think declining the present was also the right move because, you know, you don't want it to be like, well, I mean, I got you a present. It's probably just for the best to just be like, power move. Power move. It was wild, and it's behind me. I know you've got some great days ahead of you. You know, the future's really exciting when you realize that, oh yeah, I don't have to carry this burden. I can let this weight go. That's one of the reasons why I like the new year, is because I feel like that's a great time to reflect and to recognize the things that you are ready to let go of. You know, the things that you don't want to carry with you anymore. My birthday is in 2 weeks, and I'm just going to focus on building community. Oh, and I'm giving a self-defense class for my LGBTQ center. Oh, look at you go. We have some cool fucking people in here, don't we? God, my community's so fucking cool. Take a moment to just recognize yourselves, everybody. You guys are fantastic. Have you ever met a cooler bunch of people? Not in all my days. How are you feeling? Well, now that's a question. How am I feeling? I love this community too, and I'm really thankful I found y'all. You know, if I were a TikTok cult leader, I would probably be like... Now see, here's the thing. The fact that you have found your way to this Twitch stream right here today, of all days in the entire span of human history, you found your way here today, that just means that you are meant to be here. That is the universe sending you a message. Listen to that message. You live in a hologram. Your thoughts create your own reality. That's what I would sound like if I was a TikTok cult leader. Like, I don't want to use those psychological tricks to, like, lure people in, and maybe, you know, that will hurt me financially because I'm not grifting people, but I can live with that. I would rather teach you the tricks. I would rather teach you, like, you know, the way your brain works and, like, how to avoid falling for those types of pitfalls. Our minds are very suggestible. Offering a thought to yourself, suggesting a feeling to yourself is actually a great way to actually evoke that feeling. This is really what we mean whenever we say happiness is a choice, and this is a lot of this is one of the most common deathbed regrets that people have. They realized too late that happiness was a choice. And I know, it sounds too good to be true, or it sounds too simplistic, or it just doesn't sound possible, because it's not like, okay, I'm choosing to be happy. Oh, I'm happy now. That's not what it means. Happiness as a choice means is that I have to seek it out. I have to find it. I have to try to view things in such a way that I can evoke happiness and joy from those things. And so sometimes it's about changing your perspective, sometimes it's about changing your environment, sometimes it's about changing yourself. But it's about choosing to take those steps, choosing to move in that direction. That's what it means. One of the most eye-opening things for me when I was very depressed was realizing that I have to be accountable for the ways that I am making myself depressed. I have to be accountable for all of the ways that I am manufacturing my own misery. And I have to do things differently if I want things to be different. Happiness as a choice doesn't mean to force yourself to ignore suffering, but it means that we can choose to listen to our suffering and adapt to relieve our emotional suffering, which will reveal the happiness that was underneath the suffering the whole time. This is true. This is true. A lot of people keep themselves in a state of suffering by just perpetually reminding themselves of all of the reasons that they have that are causing them suffering. Your goal is to be a jellyfish in your next life. Alright, and I mean this with all sincerity. I want you to meditate on the sensation of being a jellyfish. I want you to meditate and just try to be a jellyfish. Think about your nervous system for a minute. I know we're always talking about the nervous system. Nervous system's really important. It's how you receive all of your sensory information. Your nervous system, very important. But I want you to think about your nervous system in the same way that you would think about a jellyfish. This is your nervous system. It's what processes all of your sensory information. It's what gives you a lens to experience the universe that you inhabit. If you want to be a jellyfish, recognize that you already are a jellyfish. You are just a jellyfish wearing a highly advanced meat and bone suit. You don't need to be a jellyfish, you already are a jellyfish. I don't want the mech suit though. Then go do some transcendental meditation. Go swim in the sea of consciousness. You'd be really good at it. I also want to be bioluminescent. You know, maybe in the future they'll have like bioluminescent tattoos. Or maybe you can, you know, modify your body to be bioluminescent. I don't know, that'd be sick. Chuck is on to something. You're on to something, Chuck. you're onto something. Anxiety really is your mind's, it's trying to get you to do something. You know, that's why our bodies and our minds make us feel uncomfortable, because they're trying to motivate us to seek out comfort. That's why discomfort exists. So I find it helpful to look at that motivation and to recognize, what is this trying to get me to do? What is this encouraging me to do? The best thing that you can do with your anxiety is to turn it into a tool. Learn how to wield it. Because it can be very powerful, and it can be very stressful, it can be overwhelming. But it doesn't have to be. So, the question was, how am I feeling today? Right now, I'm feeling pretty good. I got a really, I'm not going to show it to you because I can't trust that it won't be leaked. But I got Casey's birthday present, and I think she's going to like it. So I'm excited to give it to her. Never saw it that way. Thanks for that. You mean, about anxiety? Oh yeah. Anxiety is a tool. But just think about it. Imagine that, and it's a powerful tool, but imagine that you're handling a powerful tool, but it's a tool that you're not experienced with, or maybe the tool is on too high of a setting and it is frustrating or challenging and it makes you want to run away. You know, like handing somebody a jackhammer and being like, here you go. Then they're like, oh my god, this is very overwhelming. But the way that we learn to master and harness that tool is by studying it. Learning what it does, learning how to handle it, learning how to see what it's trying to do so that we can use it to good effect. When is her birthday? Her birthday is tomorrow. I got her some flowers. They're out in the kitchen. I've learned in this stream that you can convert anxiety to excitement. It's true. The way that you convert anxiety into excitement is by learning to love a challenge, an opportunity to test your might. Because the truth about anxiety is you want it to make you feel a little bit uneasy, because that's what helps to keep you on your A game. That's what helps to keep you on your toes. It keeps you sharp. You know, if things were just too easy, if things just didn't even show up on our radar, then we wouldn't show up. We just wouldn't put in our full effort. We kind of need that feeling of like, that uneasy feeling, you know? It's what helps us perform at the highest level. The description that I've used for anxiety, and this is one that I really like, this is one that I've said before, but anxiety is kind of like this. Anxiety is produced in a pretty primal part of your brain. You know, it's produced like lower down in your brain and kind of like the...
Joshua,
Do
we not have flour?
Do we not have flour?
Where is it?
We have whole wheat flour. I can run out and get you some regular flour if you need some. I'm about to wrap up here.
Okay.
Casey's making cookies, and I think I need to go out and run out and get some flour for her. So I'm gonna end on this anecdote before I run out to the store. I will end on this anecdote. Anxiety. It's produced in a feeling part of your brain. It's not really produced in the thinking part of your brain. It's a more primal, primitive part of your brain that feels anxiety. You know, dogs can have anxiety, cats, and any sort of like vertebrate, it can have anxiety. And so can we. But we also have a highly evolved brain. And the part of our brain that produces the anxiety, it's down at the bottom, and then we have this whole big part at the top that does all the thinking and feeling and sensing and remembering. And so anyway, this is kind of why anxiety feels like it kind of comes out of nowhere, and why it feels like it's out of our control is because it kind of feels like it's coming from somewhere else, because it doesn't happen in the part of your brain that you're actively thinking with. Show me where on the jellyfish. Okay, I have to be quick because I have to go to the store. Not this one. I was trying to look at this picture. Anyway, this one will work. Okay, so anxiety is produced in the bottom parts of your brain, or like the center more parts of your brain. Here, you see anxiety forming in your cerebellum, in your amygdala, and those are like those central parts of your brain. And then these outer parts of your brain, that's where you do like the more like, the more pondering, the more thinking, the more reflective parts of your brain. That's the neocortex for you. And so anxiety is happening in this really deep, primitive part of your brain. And then you thinking about your anxiety is happening in a more evolved part of your brain. So this is why anxiety can feel so difficult to deal with, is because it's something that we're having a hard time connecting with, because it's very, very deeply seated within us. Also, this is bothering me. It is inherently bothersome to recognize that different parts of your brain produce different functions. To recognize that, certain parts of your brain are thinking and processing and experiencing different things from other parts of your brain, and it's happening at the same time. It's inherently uncomfortable. Oh, that was bothering you. Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the parts of the brain, because I've heard that before too. But thank you for those 2 gifted subs. Anyway, with your anxiety, it's like having an unwanted house guest. They show up on your door. They show up on your doorstep and they're knocking. They're saying, "Let me in." Normally what we try to do is we say, "Go away. Get out of here." We go hide under the bed. We try to ignore the anxiety. We try to offset it. We try to displace it. We try to forget that it's there. But it's going to keep knocking. It might walk away for a few minutes, but it's going to come back. It's going to start knocking again. And then it's going to start checking the windows. It's going to go around to the back door. It's going to be... It's gonna try to find its way in. And eventually it'll find a way in. And so what I would encourage you to do instead is to invite it in. And say, "Oh, hello, it's good to see you. What can I do for you?" Invited in for a cup of tea. One of the most helpful things that I have learned how to do in regulating that feeling of anxiety is to invite it in and say, okay, what is this trying to motivate me to do? How can I help you? What can I do for you? I also found it to be tremendously helpful to thank that part of my brain. Even though it might be a little bit irrational, you can't blame it because it's not produced in the part of your brain that's rational. And so anxiety is inherently irrational. I like to thank it for looking out for me and trying to protect me, even though it might get a little overeager sometimes. Alrighty. That's going to be it for me today. A shorter stream today because I was out running errands and I got to go out and run another errand. I got to go out and I'm going to go get Casey some flour. She's making Christmas cookies. So I need to go get some flour for her because we only have whole wheat flour, and whole wheat flour Christmas cookies just doesn't sound very good. Alright everybody, that's going to be it for me today. I'm going to raid Casey and then I'm going to go bug her on her stream. Thank you to you and Casey for all that you guys do. You are so welcome. Thank you for being here. Alright everybody, I will see you all soon. Have a great night. Take good care of yourselves and I'll see y'all next time. Good seeing y'all. Thanks for being here. I'll see y'all soon. Adios. Goodbye.